Welcome to another episode of the Nutrition Know-How video series, where I use these videos to take different nutrition topics and practices to break them down and give you the information that you need to know and help you make it applicable to your lifestyle. Because the reality is, the reason we don't see our body composition goals, or that we look in the mirror feeling strong and confident in the body that we see looking back at us, is because of our nutrition. We know how to work out, how to move our bodies, and we have our preferred method of workout and activity. But where we go wrong is not knowing how to make bad fit with good, and how to find this balance, and how to nourish our bodies so that our body does what we want and performs the way we know it can each day. Today I want to cover a very common topic of discussion: meal prep. Now, from what I know over the last few weeks of being at home in this shelter in place, is meal prep has taken a hit. I'm home more, so I'm able to cook things fresh, and I'm not preparing things in bulk the way that I typically do. I love my breakfast being fresh every morning, but I know that once I go back to the gym and coaching classes every day, that I'm not going to be able to come home and cook breakfast between my first two classes. So it has to come back to meal prep. And I'm sure a lot of you experience the same thing. You cook your lunch fresh instead of packing it with you. But once we start to venture back into the workplace and kind of head into this new normal, we don't want to let meal prep slide. We don't want to let it be this point of stress, because we're again going to be forced to adapt to different changes, rules, regulations, and that's stress in itself. So I want to help you simplify meal prep with these 10 strategies. The first one is plan your week strategically. And so many people think that it takes hours and bunches of time to plan out your week, but it really doesn't. It saves you time in the long run. I go out and lay out my week, but I do it in a way so that I'm thinking about what meals am I having when. I plan what we're going to eat for date night. I maybe think about, are we going to go have dinner with my parents or Brian's parents? Think about what meals that you need to have. Maybe you know that you have an appointment or you have back-to-back meetings, so you have a 15-minute window where you need to get lunch in. Well, a big bowl of chili or soup may not be the best thing, because you need something more hands-free to transition from one to the next. So plan your week in a strategic way. Save your time and save some stress. Number 2 is plan a list for the grocery store. And I see so many people wander around and just kind of coast through the store. And if it's relaxing to you, great. But if you're trying to eat better and you're trying to fuel your body with good, optimally wholly processed foods, that wandering isn't gonna do much good for you. If you go through and you don't have that list and you just kind of wander and you look at, well, is it between Oreos and broccoli? Is it really a choice? You know which one is the right one, but those internal desires are going to drive you toward that other. Plan your list. Stick to it. And if you really want to take it to the next level, plan it to the layout of your store. I know that when I go into the grocery store, the dry goods are the first thing that I see. So they're at the top of my list. Then I know that I work my way through the milks, the dairies, the proteins. Then I get to the produce last. Lay it out. You typically go to the same store, so trust that you know the layout and make your list accordingly. That's going to take away trips down unnecessary aisles, seeing objects that are going to tempt and kind of touch those internal desires. So plan your list. Number 3, keep it simple and be basic. You look at Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook and you see the things that people create, and you think that you need this extravagant food. Be simple. Be basic. Just have chicken. Have a chicken breast. It doesn't need to be beautifully sliced and filleted and have stuff coming out of it. My meals are incredibly basic, but they taste great. They're packed with flavor, packed with nutrients, and I love them. You don't need to be the next Emeril Lagasse. You don't need to win Top Chef. You just need to fuel your body and feed yourself for the week. Be basic and keep it simple. Look for recipes that are 10 ingredients or less. Look for ingredients that you already have in the house or that you know you kind of buy consistently at the grocery store. Be simple. Number 4, wash and chop ASAP. When you get home and you bought veggies and fruits, cut them up right away. Take your meats, prepare them in marinades right away. Because if you do that, you're more likely to eat them. They're readily available. You're ready to use them. So wash and chop as soon as you get in the door. Number 5, do things overnight. I love the crock pot. Instant pots are great, but I love the crock pot because I can throw everything in, go to bed, get up the next morning, and lunch is prepared for the week. How great is that? Let food marinate overnight. Use that time where you're sleeping to do work. If you let food marinate in the fridge overnight, you put it on the grill, on the stove, even in the crock pot, the Instant Pot the next morning, flavor is loaded up into it and you're ready to go. Number 6 is add extras to freeze. Maybe make a little bit extra. I keep a few things in the freezer. I've got some chicken, I've got some turkey meatballs, I even have slices of egg bake in there. So that if I have a week or a weekend where it's just too busy and I don't have time to really meal prep until middle of the week, I have some food stocked up in there. Portion it out into easy containers or portionable sizes so that you can just kind of take it, let it thaw, warm it up, eat it, and you're set. It takes really just maybe a little bit extra ingredients to prepare that extra serving. Number 7, use one pot or sheet pan meals. Sheet pan and one pot meals make the world so much easier. My least favorite part about meal prep is the cleanup. That's why it's Brian's job. We'll use multi-pot. I try to do a lot of single pan foods, but we do eat a lot of food between the two of us. So we require more dishes. So we try to simplify it so that we're not washing and drying and washing and drying and washing and drying. Keep it simple. Sheet pan recipes are great. Your fruits or your veggies, your proteins, everything is loaded up with the flavor. You go to one pot meals, you cook that up, serve it right away, or put it in the fridge ready for later. They work wonders for simplicity. Number 8, be realistic. Know the amount of time that you have to prepare. If you have 1 hour to prepare your food for the week, don't pick a recipe that takes 70 minutes. Be realistic in how much time. Be realistic in how much food that you need. If you think that you can cook a pound of meat for your entire family for the whole week, you're wrong, right? Be realistic in what you need and understand what the demands are, time demands are, food demands are, preparation time, cleanup time, packaging time. Be realistic. Number 9, have your go-tos. I have about 5 recipes that if I just don't really want to think about meal prep, I know that I can just pull stuff out of the cupboard, maybe pick up some chicken or some turkey at the store, throw everything together, and I have it. Because the recipe is just ingrained in me. I've used it so many times. I love it, and it's easy to do. Have your go-tos. Have your go-to proteins. Have your go-to veggies, your fruits, your carbs. Because sometimes when you get into that scramble of trying to get too creative, well, then you're out of food, or maybe the store doesn't have them and you need to think on your feet of what's going to be eaten next. Last but not least, eat the same for 4 to 5 days. And I know that is a big pain point for a lot of people. I don't like to eat the same thing 3 days in a row. Here's the deal. Eat it for 4 to 5. Don't have any leftovers. Don't waste any food. Spend less on groceries because you're using the same ingredients, using them all up, and stay on the same nutrition plan for those 4 to 5 days. Then you get a new recipe. It's, to me, not wanting to stick to a certain meal for 4 to 5 days is usually a lack of desire to kind of go through something a little bit challenging. Is You kind of want to start to eat healthy, you kind of want to lose weight, follow a meal plan, but you don't really want to do it. Follow and eat the same meals for 4 to 5 days. That is the simplest way to meal prep. Honestly, you prepare one meal for lunch, one meal for dinner. If you prepare breakfast, one meal for breakfast. It's that simple. The more meals that you try to prepare and the more creativity you add into the week, the more time, the more ingredients, the more stress and preparation time that you have to spend in the kitchen. The simplest way is 4 to 5 meals. The easiest path to your goals, stick with the same meal. You know the same macronutrients, you know the same calories, you know the same breakdown. 10 tips to simplify meal prep. Because the truth is you cannot eat healthy and go through a diet or weight loss phase without some type of planning. Everyone's meal prep and meal planning looks different. So you have to figure out what works best for you. Get creative in it. Use these last few weeks during quarantine. Use the next few weeks before you start to meal prep to determine what is it and how do I meal prep best? What is it that I need? So that you can go at it head on and be the most successful. Check out next week's episode for another nutrition know-how.